Coming up, a dramatic turn in the Nygard saga in the House of Assembly.
This is to destabilize the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Mr. Speaker.
Don't miss one beat as the story unfolds. ZNS News with the latest. Also,
fumes emanating from the city dump, a major health concern for residents living in the area. I'll tell you what public health officials have to say about it coming up in the Bahamas Tonight.
And then,
more than 100 persons here for a major financial summit. The details coming up in the Bahamas Tonight.
The Bahamas Tonight, the national report starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
The tables have turned in the Nygard controversy as names are called in Parliament. Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley. Topping the news tonight, a cabinet minister took to the floor criticizing the well-known environmental group, which has been described as a political party in disguise. He named operatives in that group, including a sitting senator, saying the primary aim of the group is to dismantle the current administration and sully the name of the Progressive Liberal Party. Our Janae Noel Ferguson has details.
I guess he thought he was digging our grave, but in his rush, Mr. Speaker, as time will go on, we will see that in fact he dug his own grave, Mr. Speaker.
Describing it as the great Bahamian hustle that could one day be made into a movie. Marathon MP and Education Minister Jerome Fitzgerald said when opposition leader Dr. Hubert Minnis sought to support allegations made against members of the PLP and their alleged involvement in the Nygard controversy, they did not know how the matter would turn out. Fitzgerald laid out what he called a sinister plot by a well-known environmental group that was also intricately linked to F&M Senator and Chairman Michael Pintard. The hustle, he said, was meant to trap Peter Nygard to agree to hire known criminals to carry out illegal acts. The problem, he said, was that Nygard did not agree. He said the group then attempted to link Nygard to the PLP for his financial contributions based on a promise that he would get certain permits. Fitzgerald said the problem with that was that the permits were never granted. He said the operatives then tied the government's involvement with Nygard to stem cell research, but he said that did not work either, as Nygard has never put forth an application. Now, by that time, the Marathon MP said the plan then began to crack. Bahamians, he said, were also involved, making thousands.
Chairman of the Free National Movement, who we know has admitted to being paid handsomely. The information we have is well over $100,000, six figures. He was involved in the hustle.
Now, according to Fitzgerald, an F&M candidate is also allegedly paid handsomely for his involvement. F&M leader Dr. Hubert Minnis sought to clarify.
The chairman has admitted that he was like independent citizens employed by a particular agency for which he would have been receiving salaries like any other independent or private citizen. That salary we would not know.
Now Fitzgerald concluded that the environmental organization was calculating their moves through ad campaigns. He also read emails allegedly communicated among prominent advocates of human rights and environmental groups.
This is to destabilize the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Mr. Speaker.
Now, when all is said and done, Fitzgerald declared that he will be satisfied of two things.
Not one single member of the PLP is involved with regard to this matter, this Bahamian hustle. I am absolutely sure about, Mr. Speaker, is that there are certain members in the F&M who mix right up in it. They tangle right up in it. They can't get out of it, Mr. Speaker.
Now the government plans to work with the IRS in relation to this matter, as tax-exempt funds were used to push the environmental group's agenda. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS Network News.
Fox Hill MP, the Honorable Fred Mitchell, calling for a committee of privilege to investigate the affidavits presented by Andre Rollins last evening in the House of Assembly. The documents, which sparked a heated debate in the House this morning, are affidavits which purportedly clear Nygard of any wrongdoing and dismiss claims against the Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis. Mitchell had documentation of his own, which he presented, and said he felt the committee was the only way to get a resolution.
A number of people who are connected with all of these events, and you have to ask yourself whether or not money from some undisclosed source is not acting to destabilize the good governance of the country. And I don't know what other mechanism we have available save for a select committee, which I'm not minded at this point, at which the cabinet would have to agree to get to the bottom of this matter.
Now, the Fort Charlotte MP, Dr. Andre Rollins, was adamant that Mitchell was calling for a committee of privilege, saying the matter will not be addressed.
A request for the convening of a committee of privilege is merely an attempt to bury or to kill what is an attempt to elucidate this issue, to deepen this democracy, and allow this matter to be aired and ventilated. But if you ask for a committee on privilege, the member full well knows that the next election will be called and that committee will not have issued any conclusion to the satisfaction of this House or the people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas.
House Speaker Dr. Kendall Major has deferred his decision on whether he would allow documents by Rollins and Mitchell in the Nygard saga to remain on public record. Despite challenges on his ruling to delay, the Speaker said he will decide at the next best opportunity.
The Chair did ask that it be brought up. It was the intention, honest intention of the Chair to lie on the table. Yes, it was. But because of the overwhelming uncertainty and the swirling around it, the document, and the challenges, and the fact that it is sub judice, and there are other documents out there that's unverified, and the association that it brings for certain individuals, in and out this place, the Chair thought it prudent to withhold the document at this time. These documents will be tabled, both. There's no question about that. These are not to be held by this Chair. They will be tabled. The question is, the Chair needs to do its own due diligence.
Immigration and Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell told House members today that he plans to file a complaint with the Bar Association against attorney Fred Smith, QC. Smith represented the two Cuban nationals who were considered national security risks when they were released from the Department of Corrections by the courts. They're still wanted by Bahamian authorities, and it's believed that they have fled to the U.S. Mitchell was responding to questions raised in relation to the matter by Fort Charlotte MP Andre Rollins. Prime Minister Christie also reiterated that the government made attempts to find a third country for the Cubans.
Formal complaint is being drawn up against Fred Smith QC to the Bar Association in connection with the question of the Cubans and their departure from this country. It also seems to me that if, as is reported to me, the member alleges that he, out of peculiar knowledge, knows that these individuals are in Miami and working, that he ought to answer some questions as well about his conduct. And I say also that it is also within the purview of this Parliament to move formal votes of censure against irresponsible members of Parliament. That's all I say at this moment.
The Cuban government, by a letter written by me to the president of Cuba, Raul Castro, we tried other governments, Mr. Speaker, in the region, including Panama, and all had been rebuffed, Mr. Speaker, as those persons not being fit and proper, including the United States of America. And so I just want for the record to reflect that as Prime Minister, at the first available opportunity, I have made that position clear, because it is a matter now where at the highest level representations must be made to the United States of America with respect to this matter.
Well, the Nygard controversy was the feature of last evening's session of the House of Assembly, even while the midterm budget debate continued. Our Altavis Munnings was there.
The Member of Parliament for Fort Charlotte, Dr. Andre Rollins, focused most of his mid-year budget debate contribution Wednesday afternoon on the ongoing controversy surrounding allegations involving fashion designer Peter Nygard. While criticizing an alleged financial gift the Nygard made to the Progressive Liberal Party, Dr. Rollins also elaborated on a visit made by cabinet members to Nygard's home after the 2012 election that he alleges featured discussion on the stem cell industry.
Bahamians apply for Crown land and get no response after decades of submitting their applications, Mr. Speaker. Yet, one Peter Nygard pays $5 million and believes that not receiving the Crown land he believes that he is owed is justifiable reason for him to assail the integrity of the office of the Prime Minister.
Mr. Nygard, in terms of applications, Mr. Speaker, did not make an application for the government to consider for stem cells. Those applications are made to the Ministry of Health. I know of no one who had paid the PLP $5 million. It is permissible for political organizations in whatever form, whether it's environmental or otherwise, whatever form that money is being submitted, it is permissible, Mr. Speaker, if it is directed for politics.
And Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie admitted in the House on Wednesday that he's had conversations with Bahamian and international medical experts on stem cell research.
But the Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, every day has discussions with business persons, including all today. Why, you wouldn't have seen me. That is my job, including Mr. Nygard with respect to investments, Mr. Speaker. I do not like, Mr. Speaker, any person, Mr. Speaker, who makes it a habit of speaking politically in a demeaning fashion about anybody, whether it's the PLP, whether it's the Prime Minister, whether it's the office of anyone, Mr. Speaker. And I keep on saying, my conduct speaks for itself as Prime Minister.
Wednesday's House of Assembly session ended at 11:30 p.m. as Fort Charlotte MP Rollins tabled an affidavit regarding alleged information on the Nygard controversy from a Canadian law firm. That was challenged by senior government members, including the Member of Parliament for Cat Island, Rumkey and San Salvador, Deputy Prime Minister, the Honourable Philip Davis. Altavis Munnings, ZNS Network News.